This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, an MSU student uses physics to look at sports in a whole new way.
College students are raising money to relay an important issue.
Many young baseball players dream of being drafted into the big leagues. See why an NDSU player turned down that opportunity.
But first, area campuses are dealing with over half a foot of fresh snow in April. Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Chelsea Smith.
And I'm Ezra Vandeninde. Our recent snowstorms have made winter seem never-ending in the Fargo Moorhead area.
But as reporter Nora Ellenron shows us, some students are making the best of it.
April is usually the month where the snow melts and the flowers bloom. But this spring, it's the exact opposite. Even though spring is going to be a bit late, there were a lot of positive attitudes on campus.
Where's the face?
It is what it is. So if it was 80 and sunny right now, we'd be having a good time too. But since it's 30 and snowing, we're making a snow woman named Cinnamon.
I like driving in this stuff because I got a rear-wheel drive car. I can kind of like do little things like that, so I just like it.
For Minnesota natives, snow is nothing new.
It happens. It's Minnesota.
I've seen snow actually into May. It snowed once in July in my lifetime, but it was, it was still warm, summer. But I mean, it got cold once and it snowed. But I've seen it go through May before.
The IT staff members at MSUM are also trying to keep a cheerful attitude by wearing short sleeves and flats.
I thought I was kind of tired of snow, and that if we thought spring, then, and dressed like spring, it would feel a little perkier around here for one day. But I chose the snowiest day of the week.
I think it's been too cold for too long, so we're not even starting to thaw yet. And that's what's getting to me.
With it snowing for the 6th month in a row, it is starting to get a bit confusing.
April snow showers bring May flowers.
With photographer Narjis Bakshi, Noor Al-Omran, Campus News.
This long winter has also led to many events being canceled or postponed that by now would be outside. At this time last year, there were multiple outdoor campus activities like sand volleyball games, but this year students aren't as lucky. The low temperatures and blowing snow have the campus looking and feeling like it's January all over again. Assistant Director of Campus Activities Becky Boyle-Jones says even events that are a week away are being canceled.
We have the Splash Dash Dragonfire Walk coming up next weekend, and that's supposed to be like where you throw water on people. Well, that could be unpleasant.
The average high in Fargo Moorhead for the month of April is 56 degrees. So far this month, we've only hit 40 degrees a couple of times.
With the rising cost of attending college, many students are trying to find the best investment for their future. Now there's a way to know the risk and reward for every major at every university in the U.S. CollegeRiskReport.com calculates the average time and cost it would take you to pay off school based on the major. It takes into account tuition costs, job salaries, employment rates, and loan interest. The report compares the risks of different schools to see which degree would likely provide the most success in the long run. It even compares two-year colleges with four-year bachelor degrees. CollegeRiskReport.com is free to use and includes NDSU, Concordia, and MSUM.
Students at MSU Moorhead have had many days off of school due to weather this year. They recently had another day without class, but this time for a special event. MSU Moorhead put on the 15th Annual Student Academic Conference. The conference allows students to share the projects they have been working on throughout the year. This year's keynote speaker was the MSUM alumnus who helped create the event. He says he appreciates how far it has come.
To see that it's become a day totally devoted to this, where there aren't any other classes, that this is a day where we come together and celebrate the student achievements and their work is really impressive to see that.
It has impacts on other people more than you think it does. Not everyone here knows what kind of research is being done at the school.
The conference showcases diverse topics including anthropology, research, and graphic design.
One senior science student at the conference demonstrated a high-tech approach to breaking down the high jump. Earlier this week, I met with Uchenna Obanaya for a physics lesson on the well-known track competition.
Velocity, trajectory, and parabolas are terms Uchenna Obanaya is using to combine his academics with his love of sports.
It is my dream to combine science and sports because those are two things I've done the longest.
His research broke down different aspects of high jumping to help understand the physics behind a perfect jump.
Take something so complex and break it down in little parts and analyze the little parts.
Okay, Bendix.
And that's pretty much what my degree of physics, that's what we do. We take big problems and we break them down in little pieces that are manageable.
High jump is a lot of physics, and if you understand the physics of it, you understand how to jump higher.
With today's technology, the ability to take a close look at an athlete in motion is being brought to a whole new level.
In real time, it happens so fast. You can't see it, but if you break it down frame by frame, you can see it happening so you can go back and focus on stuff like that.
I'll video the athletes and then we'll take a look at it after they jump to see what they're doing wrong.
Obanaya got a little help from his roommate, Michael Bendix, a high jumper at MSUM.
It was pretty cool. I felt like I had these little bulbs and lights shining everywhere.
The little bulbs are LED lights used to track his roommate's speed, movement, and center of mass to three-dimensionally graph the approach, jump, and form.
To make a height better, if the bar goes up, that means you have to change your trajectory, which changes your parabola. So it's just it can be modeled mathematically.
But athletes won't have to worry about doing their own calculus for this technology to bring their game to new heights.
There. Oh! He does all the math and stuff, so it's pretty sweet to see when he's done.
If I can tell him his numbers and what it means, he gets really excited because he knows what to improve on.
The faster you go, the faster you get off the ground, and the more force production you put. After he told me that, I always told myself, well, I got to be quicker on my last 5 steps, and it's helped me improve a lot.
Obanaya, an athlete himself, chose the high jump because of the many components that go into a perfect jump.
It would be awesome if I was still high jumping while I was doing this project because I'd probably be a lot better.
He anticipates more athletes will discover the advantage of combining science and athletics in the future.
Every sport should be able to do this. You can break any kind of sport with motion down and maximize its potential.
Okay.
Obanaya hopes to find a career that incorporates both sports and physics.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. 3 things most of us have heard a time or two, but for students at South Dakota State University, they are putting these 3 words into action. Greenfest is a 2-day celebration that shows caring for the environment can be fun. The festival will be packed with workshops and displays promoting sustainability. SDSU students will be giving talks on how people can become more green and grow their own food. There will also be drop boxes at Greenfest for people to recycle old cell phones, batteries, and electronics. Attendees will have a chance to go for a spin in both electric and hybrid cars.
While some SDSU students are taking a few days to go green, a group of Concordia women are dedicating a whole year to this idea. 4 women were chosen to live in an eco-house to make the home more sustainable. Students had the opportunity to apply to live in the house last year. The 4-bedroom home is located right off of Concordia's campus. The students chosen to live there are doing projects to help promote sustainability not only to Concordia, but the community. One of the roommates, Sarah Vlasic, says the Eco House is a great opportunity.
So one of our biggest things is that we're not only learning in this house, but we're also living in it. And so it's a learning and living environment. And so one of the things is that we have to create a living environment that's very eco-friendly.
One of the projects the roommates have started is recycling old food and other items into a device called the Worm Factory. The worms secrete a smelly black ooze that's good for their plants.
North Dakota State University students are putting on their work boots to give back to the Fargo-Moorhead area. The annual student-organized day called The Big Event gives students the opportunity to help out nonprofit organizations and residents who need assistance. Students go around the FM area completing tasks from raking, painting, and cleaning. The Big Event first started at Texas A&M in 1982 and has since become the largest student-organized service event in the country. Last year, NDSU had more than 700 students volunteer. The event will take place Tuesday, April 23rd.
A nationally recognized performer stopped by MSU Moorhead and completely freaked out the students. Reporter Macy Egland explains.
This is Christopher Carter, a mind reader and illusionist who was named Performing Arts Entertainer of the Year in 2005 by Campus Activities magazine, and it isn't hard to see why.
You don't actually like the water all that much.
Yeah.
You were in the ocean.
Yeah.
Riptide, you almost drowned, you almost got swept out to sea.
Carter visits around 150 colleges and universities across the nation every year to freak out students, but he doesn't try to convince them that he has any special powers. In fact, he let us in on his little secret.
My show is a bunch of science experiments taken completely out of context with a lot of show built around it so that it looks like I could just step out and, start to read people's minds, go, aha, you're thinking whatever, I can't really do that, nobody can, but I can come as close as it's possible to come.
He uses their body language and eye movement as well as hypnosis to bend the minds of students.
This dude can see through his nostrils.
I was brought up on stage twice, and both times I was just mind blown. He came out and he showed me this book and he told me to pick out a page and a word, and I did, and then the second time around he showed me the book and the page was ripped out and the page was actually underneath me the whole time.
Carter is even able to make light bulbs light up in women's hands.
I have had people throw them. I have had people go into like full-blown panic attacks where they start shaking and they can't stop. I had a girl wet her pants once on stage because of it.
Close your eyes now.
Amazing, unbelievable, and just undescribable.
He's crazy, the things that he does. I have no idea how he does it.
Keep it under my hand, tell me when it's there. I'm getting an image of a cop pulling you off to the side of the road. Cops are easily bribable with food, because this is tonight's dinner.
Carter will be back again next school year to mess with your mind. Macy Egland, Campus News.
Carter also sells hypnosis CDs to help people quit smoking and lose weight. They can be purchased on his website, mindcramp.com.
Students came out for a night of fun and art at College Night at the Rourke Art Museum in Moorhead. Students enjoyed a free tour of the museum and a chance to win raffle prizes. The museum also offered free food and drinks. College Night at the Rourke provides students of any major a chance to experience something new.
College Night is a way for us to introduce all the college students in this town to the Rourke. Often we only get people visiting with art classes, and this is a night where we might get a nursing student or a business student, and it just exposes them to a bit of the rich culture that we have here.
More than 65 students from the area attended College Night. This is the second time the Rourke has hosted the event. Museum staff hopes to start hosting a College Night every semester.
Raptors will soon be flying the sky thanks to the University of Minnesota, but these aren't the kind from Jurassic Park. The university's Raptor Center specializes in the conservation of eagles, hawks, owls, and falcons. On May 4th, rehabilitated raptors will be released back into the wild at the Three Rivers Park District in Bloomington, Minnesota. Visitors will also get a chance to meet some of the center's education birds. The event is free and goes from 11 to 2 p.m.
Two MSU Moorhead students held an event to bring awareness about autism and the impact it has on victims and their families. Reporter Jackie Oman has the story.
College students going into the education field learn how to work with all kinds of children and how to react in certain situations. Sam Waddy and Betsy Olson from MSUM held an event for a class project for those who are going into teaching or who are interested in autism.
I had no idea what it is, and now I feel like I have a good grasp of it.
Waddy said that the event was held in order to educate the public.
Let's do something that will actually benefit people instead of just trying to get by with the good grades.
The event had speakers who have either worked with autistic children or have been raising children with autism themselves. Allie Smith had pointers for students who are interested in working with autistic children.
Stay positive and take time to reinforce our kiddos when they're demonstrating appropriate behaviors.
Rachel Stotts has a son who is autistic and encourages students to start talking about autism.
Here's the deal, you're gonna make a difference, and you're gonna make a difference if you do some of these things.
Students participated in activities that taught them more about autism.
I just learned a lot of different behavioral things to look for and different techniques of how to do things and how not to do things.
The event's purpose was successful, as many students stayed after to talk to the speakers and event organizers about their experiences.
The hardest things with autism is that you have to create a value to social interaction.
With photographer Ariel Bowling, Jackie Oman, Campus News.
No one is sure about what causes autism, but scientists have determined that it is a genetically based condition.
According to a report by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, college-age students are 25 times more likely to commit suicide. Some MSU Moorhead students are bringing awareness to this serious subject. As a part of Suicide Awareness Week, MSUM held a benefit concert. Students were also able to write on bags and light candles in remembrance for those affected.
I think it's very important that we're actually taking the initiative to have these events. I feel like it's a great opportunity for the student body to actually get to know more information that they might not be pre-exposed to.
Suicide prevention training taught students how to recognize the warning signs of someone having thoughts of suicide. Students also shared how they have been affected personally by suicide to help others who might be hurting. Although MSU Moorhead and Concordia are hometown rivals, the two colleges laced up their walking shoes and came together for an important cause.
Reporter Brian Ashburn brings us to the fundraising event.
Just hours before a giant snowstorm, the sun shined down on an emotional event. Concordia and MSUM put on a college relay for life to raise money for the American Cancer Society.
As a college, we can put together a Relay for Life to do something that's really meaningful and can impact the fight that we have right now against cancer.
Different student organizations made booths, played games, dressed crazy, and worked up a sweat, all with one goal in mind.
Well, obviously raising a lot of money for the American Cancer Society.
41 teams from the two colleges with over 350 students came together to raise over $33,000 for the American Cancer Society.
It's so awesome. When I walked in, I wasn't expecting it to be this way or for there to be so many tables of so many different students.
I think everyone knows someone who has cancer. I mean, whether it's not in their family, but they know someone who's been affected.
With luminaries honoring parents, siblings, and friends, it was clear that the walk hit close to home.
We're just walking for all our friends and family that have had cancer in the past.
I'm walking for Grandpa Ronnie.
For my grandma Larry.
For Cheryl Brown. For my dad, he passed away of skin cancer.
And for all those who can't fight for themselves.
I am relaying for the 7 family members that I've lost, and my grandma who was recently diagnosed, and my grandma who was diagnosed 2 weeks ago.
Students walking to find a cure, one bag at a time. Brian Ashburn, Campus News.
NDSU is hosting its Relay for Life April 27th through the 28th. And now we turn it over to Colin Boyles for a look at this week's sports.
So the tragedy in Boston kind of has some local people thinking about upcoming events.
Yeah, for anyone running in marathons coming up, it's definitely going to be in the back of their minds. A day of celebration turned into heartbreak in Boston at the ultimate stage for runners. That tragedy has some involved with MSU Moorhead's own running event, trying to balance caution with overreaction. Two explosions near the finish line of the Boston Marathon killed 3 people and injured 176 this week. The unexpected finish to one of the biggest marathons in the world has people thinking about those involved.
It's absolutely tragic. I mean, no one expected, I think, to go out and run and then there's bombs going off, especially there's children, there's families, spectators, people come from all over the globe. And next thing you know, there's screaming and chaos just everywhere.
Meredith Watney is deciding whether she wants to run in MSU Moorhead's 8th annual Dragon Fire Walk 5K. The tragedy in Boston that many people are thinking about comes just 2 weeks before MSUM's own running event. The Fargo-Moorhead area is not Boston, but that won't keep Dragons athletics from being cautious.
Fargo-Moorhead is the type of thing you don't think about, but no one's exempt from this.
MSUM's public safety patrolled at the past 7 firewalks, and its main focus at the events is all in the name: public safety. This year's coverage will be no different than previous, despite situations like the Boston explosions.
And we're not going to take any steps to, to change anything at this point in time unless there would be some kind of a direct threat or a corroborated threat. But it's a good reminder.
A reminder that even at events that should be worry-free, there are those who need to always be vigilant.
Greg Lemke says if anyone sees anything suspicious, they should call 911 or public safety right away. For the second straight year, a Minnesotan has won college hockey's top individual prize. St. Cloud State University center Drew LeBlanc from Hermantown, Minnesota took home the 2013 Hobie Baker Award. Hours after winning the award, he signed a one-year deal with the NHL's Chicago Blackhawks. In 42 games this season, LeBlanc led the Huskies in points with 13 goals and 37 assists. St. Cloud State reached the Frozen Four, but Quinnipiac University beat them in the semifinals. Last year, University of Minnesota Duluth Stars center Jack Connolly won the award. The firing of Rutgers University's basketball coach has brought awareness to what is acceptable behavior for all coaches. Reporter Cammie Raisler tells us about the fine line they must deal with.
Looky here. Bobby Knight just threw his chair.
Coach Bobby Knight's chair throwing days are over, and many thought his style of coaching would never be seen again. But a recently fired coach from Rutgers went above and beyond anything Coach Knight did. Mike Rice's alleged physical mistreatment of players that was revealed in practice video has made many people question what is ethical for a 21st century coach.
I can't imagine throwing a ball or pushing a player or grabbing a player in such a physical way that to intimidate them.
MSUM head men's and women's basketball coaches know their athletes will be scared of them at times, but never scared of physical harm.
I think the players have to understand that if they're not doing their job, they're going to be held accountable. Now, you can hold people accountable without, putting the fear of God in them.
A little bit of fear is good. Do you fear your parents every once in a while? Absolutely. But, there is a limit.
Regulation of actions in American sports is becoming stricter over time, and coaches and players have to adjust.
The profession evolves, and I think certain things happened in the olden days that were looked upon maybe not as they're looked upon now.
With the help of Twitter, Facebook, and cell phones, anything and everything a coach or player does could come back to haunt them. Cammie Raisler, Campus News.
Fired coach Mike Rice is now coaching his 12-year-old daughter's team in New Jersey. The word success has become synonymous with Amy Anderson ever since she stepped foot onto a golf course, and now more than ever while at North Dakota State University. Anderson received her 9th career Summit League Female Golfer of the Week award before earning a tournament title at the Creighton Classic in Omaha, Nebraska. Anderson shot a combined score of 146, 2 shots over par for her 4th individual title this season. Anderson's 9 career Golfer of the Week awards are tied for the 3rd most in Summit League history. We are all faced with tough decisions coming out of high school, but what if you had the chance to jump to one of the pinnacles of sports? Reporter Kenny Buck shows us how one NDSU baseball player had to make one of the biggest decisions of his life.
Imagine you are not even out of high school yet, and you get a call telling you that you've been drafted by a professional baseball team. NDSU pitcher infielder David Ernst was chosen in the 47th round of the 2011 Major League Baseball draft by the Chicago Cubs. The Fargo native embraced the moment.
It was awesome. Got the call, and just to be drafted, it tells you where you're at as a ball player. It tells you you're right up there with the best baseball players in the country.
The number 2 starter for the Bison is most talented when it comes to towing the rubber.
David's best pitch, his fastball, which he says can reach up to 88 miles per hour.
2 years after making the decision to forego the big leagues and play for the Bison, David still believes that he's chosen the right path.
I think I'm taking the correct route, the safe route, getting more experience, getting better here at college, and hopefully upping my draft stock after my junior and senior years.
David makes it clear that his main focus is upping his draft stock because he says there's not much love for 47th rounders in the major leagues. With photographer Kyle Wahlberg, Kenny Buck, Campus News.
Ernst is 4-4 with a 3.65 earned run average in 9 starts this season. So what would you do in that situation?
I'd go for the education.
Personally, I would go for the money.
Thanks, Colin. For many aspiring musicians, finding a place to perform is a difficult task. However, one venue is trying to take underground music in a new direction. Reporter Thor Thompson has the story.
From the outside, this may not look like a musical hotspot, but one only needs to listen to tell that it is. Jack Steenerson, MSUM senior, had a vision for his own venue that he and 3 friends made a reality.
The 4 of us that opened the place, we have all been in touring bands before, and we've all been involved with the Fargo scene for many years. We've had like 11 different venues since I started going to shows in 2004, so we wanted to finally get a stable place that was ours and could belong to it.
The new direction provides both hands-on experience for young artists and a comfortable setting to make everyone, including themselves, feel at home. There's plenty of work that goes into each show, but it is not without reward.
What makes it worth it for me every time is almost every band that's come through here, they've been lots of places in the country playing, and they said, well, there's nothing like this place in the country. This is the coolest place we've ever played.
With a wide variety of music that not only includes indie rock, but everything from hip-hop to hardcore rock, this location offers something for everyone.
What I like most about this venue is that it's a do-it-yourself kind of venue. I don't necessarily fit into the genres that they typically play here, but they're open to anyone who wants to play and just get their music out there.
And for many musicians like Rachel Jane, it's become a great spot to showcase their talents. Thor Thompson, Campus News.
With no alcohol and a more relaxed setting, New Direction provides a comfortable alternative to the usual crowded venues. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with another look at the fun activities at the Relay for Life.
Thanks for joining us, and have a great week.
Campus News was produced by the Television News Workshop in the Department of Mass Communications at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.